Hey, I'm Casey Okupi, and this is Free Speech Northwest. Today, we're doing an episode, I'm calling it Comedy versus Culture and Politics, because I'm sitting next to a couple comedians. Some really funny, awesome guys that, you guys do comedy in the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah.
All right, Mid-Willamette Valley. And you're Chad Johnson.
Hello.
All right, and Zach Chappell.
Zach Chappell.
All right, so those are all true.
Yes.
Okay.
True so far.
So, what is comedy like in the Pacific Northwest? How would you describe the scene?
That's a really open question.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's
What's the bad stuff? Let's talk about the bad
why
stuff.
would you want to start with the bad stuff?
Sure.
Hey, he's into it
let's
a little
start
bit
with
first,
the
right?
what's the target demo for this show? That's what let's start I think it's really supportive. There are some it's really it's not as open as I'd like it to be. Like there's a lot of people that don't want you to say certain things at certain places. I mean, I find it hilarious that I saw a post on the internet that an open mic got shut down because someone said ching chong bing bong. It's the funniest thing to me.
Those are fun sounds.
Yeah, well, it was aimed racistly.
Oh, no.
But
That's not nice.
Right. Just talk to
It's
the person
funny,
and be
though.
like, don't be racist, man. Don't be racist. I don't know the context at all, but that's just the funniest thing to me still. That's
Well-
about the state of some of the comedy. The other stuff's really good and supportive.
Okay. What do you have to say about that, Chad?
That one's Zach.
I'm Zach. That's all right. We
You
can
guys
just
look
take it
the
all the
same.
time.
Comedians all look the same. It's weird.
It's a style.
Okay.
I feel like there's on the one hand, there are those people out there that kind of want people to be monitored what they say. But there's also it was just a very vocal minority for a while, but there's another vocal minority that is okay with hearing whatever. They're not the sensitive type of people that get offended by things, and those are the really great people to be coming out to comedy shows because
They support
everything. They just like to
funny
laugh.
funny over everything.
So do you think that there's sort of a scenario where people can't comprehend that some things are literally a joke, and they think that you're doing comedy to be literal or something?
Yeah.
I don't even understand that.
We don't run into that as often because we're not higher level and there's not that many people seeing us because we're just doing open mics around Salem and we'll go to Portland and Eugene and stuff like
You're
that.
not high level.
We're not. Sorry to spoil everything.
No, I'm pretty famous
with all your
actually.
fucking fans.
I'm
But,
really.
yeah. I went and saw Kyle Kinane, but I was too nervous to even say anything to him.
Oh, okay. Well, when I booked you guys, I was under the impression. Never mind.
No.
Let's move on.
My Netflix special's coming out next month. I'm
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it?
really famous. Yeah.
Oh, all right. We're back on track. So, all right, where were we? You know what? It's comedy versus culture and politics, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at some of the cultural stuff going on right now. Can we play that video, part of it, please?
As far as trans athletes go, we could sit here and talk for 3 hours about all the different ways that hormones might affect your body and might not affect your body. And I'm not an expert on that. And I don't want to claim to be, right? But a sports with trans athletes who are competing with with their gender, right? That is a sporting world that I'm more interested in, right? And I think we should find a way to make that happen. I know it's going to be really complicated and messy, right? And there's going to be a lot of debate about it, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and there's going to be a lot of arguments. But I hope that that's the world that we move forward to. That's my point of view.
My point of view is that there's a distinction. There's a reason why we make the distinction to have male athletics versus female athletics. The reason is that males have a physiological advantage over women. So in most sports, most physical sports, we do not have males compete with females. The question becomes when someone who is male transitions and becomes female, do those same physiological advantages apply? And what is the evidence? Well, the evidence in competition seems to be that it shows that it does apply, particularly in weightlifting, rugby, mountain biking, power heavy sports that favor larger people, stronger bodies, males that transition to females have a significant advantage in their breaking world records. So if you're a woman and you're a natural woman and you don't take any extra hormones or male hormones, you're not taking steroids or any sort of performance-enhancing drugs, you're doing your very best to compete and you're at the top of the heap. But then someone comes along that was a man for 30 years and decides that they're going to be a woman, and this has happened, and literally transitioned a few months ago and competes as a woman and destroys records and dominates you in that sport. That's bullshit.
All right, can we pause that? Okay. So, what are your thoughts on that? What he said there?
Hard to agree with Joe Rogan on that whole thing.
You what?
Really agree with Joe Rogan on the whole thing.
You agree with Joe?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You know who I think would argue about that the strongest? Hardworking female athletes who have reached the peak of their physical condition, and I mean the penisless ones, penisless female
That
athletes.
sounds fun to say.
That's fun to say.
Penisless.
Yeah, penisless.
I had to try it out.
The penisless female athletes, I would personally imagine, would object the strongest. Don't you agree?
With trans people being able to
How does
transition.
this make you feel?
Oh, I don't really like. If I wish I was into sports a little bit more, so I could have more of an opinion on that. And I wish I was more into trans people a little bit more, so I could have more of an opinion. I just like, if the whole, because they were in that episode, they were talking about steroids and stuff in like baseball. I think it was that episode.
Probably.
But it's the same kind of thing. It's like, I think it'd be fun, like cool, but it's also there's like 90% of the people that pay attention to baseball to be like, hey, don't fucking ruin my sport.
Yeah. So you want to see monsters compete instead of like.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
Space
for
Jam.
sure,
Have you
for
seen Space
sure.
Jam?
I've seen Space Jam.
Baseball was
Great.
so much more exciting in the 90s,
Yeah.
Yeah.
80s.
Creatine powder, right?
Uh-huh.
Stuff like that.
Well,
Yum.
yeah, they put creatine in energy drinks now, so that's nothing.
Oh well, I'll get on top of that. But that's kind of a vague view on it.
So
but that's okay.
So with the specific view that they were talking about right there of a man going through his whole life and then transitioning to be a woman
Uh-huh.
and then winning a bunch of, breaking records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're asking, do I think like a woman who's trained her whole life to be a professional female athlete would
Is
have
it
a problem
fair?
with that?
Yeah. You think
I
that's?
think that I think that she might have a problem with that.
she might have a problem.
Yeah.
It's consensus.
Not to speak for female athletes, because I certainly am not one.
You can
but
speak for anyone.
He's
you
not
want.
either one of those.
No, not at all. I would be upset,
So as an unathletic guy,
Yeah.
your perspective on how you feel female athletes would feel, would they be upset?
Yeah, I think this is that empathy
That's
thing
okay.
people keep telling me I don't feel.
What's the switch
You
around
have
on that one?
People told you that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the switch on that though? Because like say a guy trained his whole life to do this thing, what woman can see? That's the bummer about this whole thing. Is like, oh well, it is uneven. Because like what can a woman do to, take something away from a man by transitioning and being like, oh, I'm a dude now.
So you're saying that we've scored?
I no.
No.
I don't want to use those words and be like, yeah, we've scored. But it's just like, I don't know.
Okay. Here you can say any damn thing you want.
Well, I get that, but that's not really how I feel.
Well,
Anything.
good.
But no, it's because like I'm trying to like think right now. What is a situation that could happen? Can you think of one?
Okay. Yeah, let's say that you.
I thought of like ballerina, and then I was like, no, they can't.
No.
It's the strength.
Let's say
thing.
that you're like this amazing runner, and so a
Okay.
woman transitions into a male and starts competing at running, and gets really good, but never catches up to you. It's
But
not gonna
never-
bother you, is it?
right.
Yeah.
But
It's
I don't know.
pointless.
I don't know if running, that would be a thing that I would be affected by, because I'd think it logically like, oh, I don't think that
Okay.
either one is faster than like Are men just faster than women? I don't know.
I think they have.
I mean, I
some-
know they're like really fast people. Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
record breakers or.
I think they usually are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All
It's
right.
like longer legs
Cool.
and more muscles in the
I guess
legs.
yeah. Having.
Don't have as much boob fat when you're an athlete.
Hey, those fucking runner ladies don't have boob fat. That's just straight down.
Surfboards.
I don't know why I keep straight down.
You got to make eye contact with yourself.
Yeah,
first.
he looks at the camera and I'm like, I'm gonna do that too.
Chad watches a lot of The Office, so every time you just got to look at the camera.
8.
All right. Can we?
What
show some...
do you think? Like,
yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
Oh, wait.
I want to
hold
know.
on.
I want to know
talk
what you
about what I
think.
think. Okay. I think that men that have transitioned and now they're ladies with penises shouldn't get to compete against non-penis, like penisless ladies. I don't think they should. I don't think it's fair, and I think that
Why?
it's a stupid conversation because I think it's common sense. I think it's like obvious. It's a big fat duh.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, I just like I'm not.
Because
Wanna hear it.
of what Joe Rogan said. It's not an original idea. I mean, a lot of people understand that the physiology of men, muscles, and all this other stuff. You know, we were designed to be the hunter-gatherer people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And women were physically designed to do the other stuff. But, I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist when I say that. I'm
No,
just talking
it's-
about something that was evolutionary.
Yeah, I get that.
So it
Well,
was
in, like,
easier if a
society-
guy went out and did that because, and a woman was already, you know, had to deal with raising kids because they were the ones who got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So from the time of, you know, I don't know, evolutionary, whatever, yada yada, blah blah blah. Logic.
Well, I think it's great.
That's such a shitty answer. You know,
You literally
evolutionary,
yada yada.
logic.
Yeah.
But I think we haven't caught up to, like, society changed, and so it's like,
It's almost like culturally we're transitioning also.
but it's like
But are
the
people
same thing
getting
of
sick
like,
of it?
but it's not like physically humans aren't caught up to what it is now. It's like people are like, oh, everything's equal, everything's the same. It's like, well, yes, but if a man can't fight a woman, because that he'll fucking hit through her face.
That's-
He'll fucking hit through her face.
That's not a very feminist attitude to have.
That's fine. I think that, like, that's fine.
We need to empower women and
I think, yeah,
have them fight men.
I think that more women should fight men, so that men can.
Now see
Hey,
that?
hey, you know what?
That's-
Hey, it's the as you said the penis women with penises. That's the ones that'll be beating up men.
Wait, do
Yeah,
the
they
women
do
get
try it.
penises and then beat up men, or is it men who
what?
changed into women
You know,
that are
honestly-
beating up men now?
We should probably.
This whole
guys in
conversation,
that- can
this
we
whole
do,
part's way out of my
Can we
mind.
cue up the No Doubt song,
Yeah.
"Walking in a Spider Web"?
No, what was
Can we
the
cue
ref?
up TLC's No Scrubs?
Ooh.
All right, I have comedians on the show. Can we go to the next thing? It's still Joe Rogan. So
What
we're
is
still
the
on
I
target?
same
love
thing.
Joe Rogan.
Well,
do you want
I
first,
disagree, and I've.
What do you disagree about?
I've already. Well, my main point being the one that I already made, right? That, like, I don't think that there is such a thing as a perfectly level playing field. I think we decide what kind of playing field we want to have.
Sure, but we
and-
do make the distinction where we don't allow men to compete in women's divisions.
And I think that distinction may be breaking down a bit, right? And I think it may be time to break down that distinction a little
so
bit.
you think that males should be able to compete in the women's division of weightlifting?
No, I don't necessarily.
But they can if they transition.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of stuff to break down, right? And I'm not an expert on the subject, right? So it's just sort of off the top of my head. One thing is, you're postulating a particular person who decided to transition at the age of 30, right? And they were very big and strong before, right? And they decided to transition. Now, that is a type of person that exists, right? I think over the next certainly 30 years, we're going to see, now that people are starting to understand that being trans is just a way that people are, right? They're just people who are trans, and this is something that we're going to accept and support, right? You're seeing folks transition much, much earlier age,
Well, but then
And so if someone is transitioning from the age of 7 years old, right, and working with those hormones, from that age, right, they're not going to have their body situation is going to be very different than the one that you postulated, right. I also know from my trans friends that the effects that the hormones have on your body are really profound, really, really profound. We're not to a surprising degree, right? And so, I have, look, if the question is how does a person who starts taking hormones at a particular age, right, how does their body change and how does that affect vis-a-vis athletic performance? I don't know. We're in such new territory here,
yeah,
right?
well, we certainly are, and we just scratched upon the idea of kids transitioning at a very early age. I mean, there's been more scientific evidence that points that if kids don't do that, then when they wanted to be trans at an early age, they just become gay men, and that there's nothing wrong with that either. There's no reason to give kids hormones, and there's no reason to decide before a person's frontal lobe is completely fully developed, which doesn't even take place till 25. People don't know who they are. A 7-year-old, you won't even. People don't even give their 7-year-old phones. You don't let them vote. You're going to let them decide what sex they're going to be for the rest of their life.
Okay, can we pause it? You guys pause it. Okay, thanks. Perfect. Okay, that was the topic that I wanted to bring up. A couple things. Anyone who says right that much is an asshole, wouldn't you agree?
Right.
Yeah. He says it constantly, he's trying to get you to agree with him.
I think that's a thing that is kind of a little bit of a nervous tick because.
I don't think it is.
Well, I think it's a nervous tick in a way that he's trying to get you're on my side, right?
Exactly. I think that's not a tick. Though. I think
we agree here, and
I think that's just someone who's an asshole.
I think it's a communication tool.
Wow, you're really nice in how you describe that.
Well, I think that he probably learned that somewhere.
Yeah, in manipulation class. Possibly. That's just my opinion.
Do you teach a class on how to manipulate people?
I could. But I think that's just
You ever heard of that?
Oh wait, no, I worked a sales job.
Yeah, the guy with the hat. Is ladies, you're dumb, and they're like, oh, that guy.
Oh, the Girls Gone Wild. That what we're talking about?
Yeah.
so. Anyway,
commercials changed my life.
I just think that people who say right that much are kind of assholes, kind of. But anyway, aside from that, transitioning. That was another point I wanted to talk about when he was talking about the girls who are 7 years old or boy who's 7 years old. They want to transition into being the other sex, so they start hormones. Where are you on that idea?
I think let anybody do I'm just totally kidding. I think that's insane. Yeah. I think it's absolutely insane, and you should not be able, because you're going to ruin that child. You ruin a human being because, maybe. If they want to stick with it and everything, then they're like, oh shit, I started this early and cool. But if they don't, but I don't think it should be legal until you're at least 21, at the very earliest.
Wow.
The very earliest.
Interesting.
Well, yeah. Well, you got to have the your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25 or something like that, right? It doesn't stop developing in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to make a life-changing decision like that early on, because everyone did stupid ass shit when they were 7, 8. I was doing stupid ass shit until I was 18, 19.
Yeah,
I wasn't in a
stopped?
spot to. I guess I'm still doing stupid ass shit.
Yeah, how old are you?
37, I think.
With a question mark. So when you were 20,
Yeah.
you were a totally different person.
Oh, it was horrible, man.
Completely different person. And
Yeah.
you had ideas at that age that you're like, wow, if I would have gone through with that, or I did go through with that and now I'm fucked because of it, or something like that. There's all sorts of decisions that you make, and then I think I can't. Oh, no. I've heard that argument a couple times, and I've always just been like, what, can I butt in here? Because how is this even a discussion? Why are you guys? It's like a kid, if someone's kid says oh, I want to get the cat eye surgery and those big fucking things right here and turn my face into a cat because I feel like I'm kind of a cat on the inside. It's the same thing.
Well, that's interesting that that's the same thing because...
To me.
How old do you have to be to get a tattoo, even if your parents okay it? Like from an actual place.
I want to say like
18.
But if your parents are with you,
Oh,
I think it's
oh,
like
parents.
maybe
Good
14,
point.
15.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's just a picture on your body.
This is
doesn't make
changing
sense.
your body.
Yeah.
All right, so
Oh, but I also want to say I think we live in a great time where people can just be whoever they want to be, but it's definitely a confusing time for a lot of people.
well, it sounds
I think
like
it should be
Chad
just like-
doesn't want people to get to be cats.
No, be a cat. Oh,
Be
that'd
a
be
cat
great.
now?
Like, oh,
but you got to
people-
be 21 before you get to be
You
a
should
cat.
just become an adult first, and like, because if you be a cat, and then you grow up, and then you go, oh, I made a mistake, and then you have like those deep ass holes in your face, and you got that collagen stuff in your mouth, and your teeth are all shaved down, and you got weird eyeballs now. I guess
All
you
right,
can
man.
just get contacts, but I'm just saying, like,
But-
your body is messed up later, and then you're sad, and then you
Well, where
commit
do you
suicide.
draw the line? Because you're okay with people being a cat or whatever, but what about the
Adulthood.
35-year-old weird dude who decides he's a young girl and wants to go into the locker room and all this?
So, like, I've heard of the cases where it's a full-grown man,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, "Oh, I feel like I'm a 7-year-old girl,"
Yes.
or something like that.
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's totally happened, and
It seems like a mental health issue.
yeah, it's that person's crazy. Oops, you went crazy. Shit happens. That's fine. You went crazy. Go get help and then get better. Your family will love you for it. But
I guarantee there's
Dude.
probably someone
Where
with
do we
that
draw
same
the
issue.
line, though? That's
in
really hard
mental
because
health facility.
you can't be a different age.
no, you can't be a different age or a
Yeah.
different. You can't be
There's-
like you can't be
Chronologically,
black,
you just
right, or
can't-
Asian.
I mean,
Maybe?
no, I no. I mean, I can. Sometimes I pretend a little too hard with it, a little too much tequila. You know, words get thrown around. But yeah, no, you can't change what. I don't know. But yeah, where do you draw the line of like?
Yeah, this is interesting.
you can't
because
you can't turn black, but sure you can make yourself into a lady.
So that's the line. The line is you can be a grown man and then decide you're a same age lady, but not a younger lady or older lady. So
I think it's hilarious if you want to be an older lady. If
Oh,
you want to
yeah.
do it for comedy reasons, if you want to be like, you know what, I'm 90, and you want to act, and you have to commit to it though.
Fully commit to
You
it.
have to commit to it. You get yourself a walker.
Walker.
You're like a 22-year-old dude
Gray
with a
wig.
walker,
Saggy ass titties.
saggy titties.
okay, so comedians give the green light on becoming another sex and older, but not younger.
Not younger.
Okay, so let me ask you
It's just
this.
weird.
Yes.
If you could be a white person, would you be?
If I could be a white, sure, why not?
Cool.
I don't know that there's too many I necessarily would turn down because I
I do
really
not
don't
wanna
know.
be
What-
Polish.
Would I get some sort of advantages from these different options?
You ever
white
heard of
one.
white privilege?
The white one, yeah, the white one.
What is the white privilege?
I don't.
What do
it's-
you get?
I
What
mean,
have you got from
Actually,
it?
okay, so
A lot of warnings from police officers.
hey, buddy.
Okay, so
Actually, yeah, no. Okay, so I was drunk dancing with headphones on the way home, and I was stumbling like all over the sidewalk, and then I saw cop lights, which I don't pay attention to because I'm walking, whatever.
Sure.
And then I saw a cop being like, "Hey," and then I took a headphone out, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm going home." He's like, "All right, just careful." I was like, "Okay," but then I thought like, I don't know, I'm drunk in public. I'm
You
very
almost-
obviously drunk in public.
You almost got blapped.
okay, so you feel there's almost like a guarantee or something that if you were black, you would have got a ticket or hauled off to jail.
No,
I don't know. I don't know what
I don't
it's
think
like.
there's any sort of guarantee with that, but
So
I feel a little
not
bit
a guarantee, but you know what I mean. Like
safer. Like, say if I were like, I took a nap outside my daughter's gymnastics because I don't mean to like point over there as if there's a child over there for some crazy reason. Anyway, so I was tired after work, so I went out and took a nap in my car. But then I was like, is this weird to nap in your car, like in public? And I was just like, it'd be fine. But like, I don't know. Maybe different races would feel a lot more uncomfortable with that. But I thought about it for about 10 seconds.
okay, so that's just something that I'm curious about because I'm pretty sure. Let's say you're a police officer.
You look Smash Mouth white, though.
I do.
Yeah, like SoCal white. You're that kind of like.
You look like you practice Santeria,
If you
and you got a crystal ball.
No, I ain't got it.
if you said your last name was Thompson or like Smith, like, hey, I'm Casey Smith, I'd be like, oh, you know how to skateboard probably.
Oh,
You did a ska band.
I wish I knew.
You
how to skateboard.
you did a ska band once.
Okay. I look California white, or is that what it was?
Yeah,
California
SoCal white.
Okay.
Get that. To me, I don't live in California.
Never been.
I
don't know
don't.
if it exists.
Now, Zach,
Yes.
you're a police officer now.
No.
In this
No.
imaginary
Okay.
scenario.
Badass. Yeah.
Okay. You see a
Role play
black
that.
man napping in a car outside of a what was it? Place where gymnastics. That guy deserves a ticket, right?
No.
Oh no?
No.
Oh.
But I'm a good police officer.
So
I don't think.
the Northwest
Until it gets to the
police,
evidence
police
room.
officers are where are the police officers that decide that if
I don't know.
Where
I
are
only
those
have good
ones?
interactions with police officers because I'm fortunate. Also, we just don't really.
does the police
'Cause I'm
officer thing transform you
fortunate.
into a racist? you think?
Becoming a police officer?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is there a transformative moment?
I wonder. There's probably a lot of
Wonder-
conditioning throughout, like the school. What's it called? Police Academy.
Police
Oh
Academy.
yeah, it's in
Steve
the
Guttenberg.
documentaries 1 through 8.
I bet you there's a lot of conditioning of like you see the criminals that they're posting in like the books and like they're like this guy was busted for this thing and I bet
I
it's
see what you're saying.
But it's a lot of black
So
people.
you're saying-
and like
okay.
Mexican people.
So then that
Pictures of
makes
this guy.
me wonder if you keep turning the page and you're seeing all these mug shots and they're Mexican people or black people or whatever, that conditioning, is that showing you their choices? Or, I mean, did they commit the crimes or did they not commit the crimes?
I guess it's a chicken or the egg situation because it's like those are the ones that got busted, but it could be by the racist cops, or those are the ones that the people who made the books are racist.
More like a chicken and a waffle situation.
The people who made the books? All right. All right, let's.
That was a good one. That was great.
Yeah, that's not bad. Can we go to the
That one
next?
goes out to all my brothers out there.
Please don't trans your kids.
That
That's
doesn't
it.
make sense.
Wait, is that a verb? Can you use it like that?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right.
Don't trans your kids.
Yeah. There you go.
Can we do the next segment? There.
Do you think, though, because of the heat that has been generated, that your views have been misrepresented at times?
Oh, definitely, but that's, that's part and parcel of the process. I did take a very forceful stance, let's say, against some of the excesses of the radical left-wingers, and it's in their best interest to paint me as somehow a figure of the extreme right, because then I don't have to be contended with. But, I mean, it's easy for people's views to be oversimplified in a very large public debate.
Okay, can we pause that?
The great American philosopher Beyond.
I don't know what
Okay,
that's a
perfect.
reference to at all.
Well, no, I'll tell you right now.
Perfect.
He said that he's painted as.
Who was that?
Huh?
Bob Ross.
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson. Okay.
Yeah. He said he's painted as a extreme right, like alt-right or whatever. Like they call him this, they call him a Nazi, they call him all this stuff. So they don't have to take him seriously and argue with him, things like that, or have debates, these talks that like we're doing right now. And I asked you guys to come on this show, and a lot of times the people who watch this show are right of center on politics. And you didn't turn to me and say, you're a Nazi, racist, etc., whatever, right? You didn't do that.
No, because I'm not toxic.
You're not toxic?
Nah. It seems
Those
like
people are toxic who say that?
yeah, anyone who is gonna outwardly just yell at someone for being something that they're obviously not, it's kind of toxic behavior.
Well,
I ain't got time for it.
very close-minded.
Very
It's
close-minded.
It's a bummer when you find people that are that close-minded. They just see something they don't agree with, and they're like, "No, well, I mean, that's what you should do. You should just say that's not for me." But you don't have to be so fucking. You don't have to get pulled toward it and go be angry at it. You can just go away.
Sometimes I see something that I don't like, and you know what? I just don't let it affect me or bother my life.
It's very mature. There was this
It's also a robot. He's got no.
lady comedian that I asked if she would be on the show, and it's not the one that couldn't make it, but we'll call her Lucy, and she said that I was like the underbelly of something and all this other stuff, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is a free speech thing. Like, you can come on the show, and when I say the thing that's evil, you can call me out on it directly at that moment, right? I mean, do you feel that there's kind of free speech going on?
I feel like underbelly is a weird term.
That I have an underbelly, like she said.
I mean, to be fair,
Of all of our underbellies, you probably have the grossest underbelly.
of all of us
Second
here,
grossest, Chad doesn't have an underbelly.
No.
I don't have one.
He doesn't drink.
So you think she's just kind of saying that I'm fat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's fat shaming you.
Okay.
And for someone who's so left wing and non-shaming and stuff like that, that's really not cool.
No.
Also toxic.
It's not a real name, but Lucy, you know who you are. You don't fat shame. It's not cool. So like this is like a open dialogue, open
Yeah.
forum. I want people who hear something I say try to argue with me on it and call me out and call me these bad things if I'm doing it at that moment.
Well, you seem like a person who, if you were told that you're doing something wrong and you understood what you were doing wrong, you'd be like, oh, shit, my bad.
Yeah, I would kind of try to do that. I think, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if if logic leads me to the conclusion based on what you're saying that this is wrong, like I try to do what I feel is morally good.
Yeah, and like you're willing to change your mind, that's the thing, is like I like it when people are willing to change their mind and say like, oh, I was wrong about that, but I'm glad I know what's correct or whatever now.
It's the weirdest thing. In 2016, I knew all kinds of things were morally good and right, and then during that same year, I flipped and did a 180 on like everything. So it's pretty crazy.
How do you feel about being called the underbelly? And I think there haven't been just one person who's considered you that way.
Wow. Yeah, I know. I think it's fun and interesting, and I really want all those people on the show. Like, I want the people who know that I'm the underbelly to come talk with me.
And that's hard, is because like some of those people aren't willing to have conversations.
No.
They just want to say stuff.
I feel like you need a moderator or something for a conversation like that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, if you guys want to set that up and volunteer.
Ooh.
I can't do that. I'm the only person who like cannot do that, just because of yeah.
Okay.
Me and Lucy aren't goosey.
But that's interesting because I'm not sure, and I was advised that my perspectives.
Wait, I got to show a picture. It's called Squash and Beefs.
Oh,
Yeah.
squashing beefs. That'd
Squash
be
and
great.
Beefs, yeah.
I like it.
Boom. CCTV. You get that?
It's
Maybe you need to do that.
it's Zach just making burgers.
Watch me squash this beef. Bam!
But I was told my perspectives on women stuff was bad.
How does your wife feel about that?
We're not on talking terms. No, kidding.
I was like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that.
So great.
No, I don't know. Like we share a lot of the same perspectives when it comes to like politics and society and stuff like that. She actually introduced me to most of them, so like a lot of them. But are we able to cut to the next clip?
Oh, dude,
I don't know if there's anybody.
did we even talk about the last one?
Yeah, we did.
The great American philosopher Beyonce Knowles said that it has been said that racism is so American that if you challenge racism, you look like you're challenging America. We are challenging inequality. We are challenging the refusal to see me as an individual. When we overcome that, have at it, we're all on equal plane.
I think it's fine. I think it's good.
The pot is getting stirred here.
So I've got a couple of questions.
So let's your side's folks. I'm going to go to Jordan, then to you,
Let's
Michelle.
assume for a moment that I've benefited from my white privilege. Okay, so let's assume that. That's
a good
fine.
assumption. That's
yeah,
a good
well, that's
assumption.
what you would say. So, so let's say here. Let's get precise about this. Okay.
Was that very individual of you?
Let's get precise about this. Okay.
Let's get precise.
To what degree is my present level of attainment or achievement a consequence of my white privilege. And I don't mean sort of. I mean, do you mean 5%? Do you mean 15%? Do you mean 25%? Do you mean 75%? And what do you propose I do about it? How about a tax? How about a tax that's like specialized for me so that I can account for my damn privilege, so that I can stop hearing about it? Now, let's get precise about one other thing, okay? We'll get precise about one other thing. Now,
Precise.
yeah, precise, yes. And so, if we can agree, and we haven't, that the left can go too far, which it clearly can, then how would my worthy opponents precisely define when the left that they stand for has gone too far? You didn't like equity, equality of outcome. I think that's a great marker. But if you have a better suggestion and won't sidestep the question, so let's figure out how I can dispense with my white privilege, and so that you can tell me when the left has gone too far, since they clearly can. And that's what this debate is about political correctness. It's about the left going too far. And I think it's gone too far in many ways. And I'd like to figure out exactly how and when, so the reasonable left could make its ascendance again and we could quit all this nonsense.
Can we pause it? Okay. Paused. So, you were saying white privilege is a thing, right? It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that it is a thing.
Okay. How do we, do you want that to not exist?
Me personally? I mean, like...
Oh, sorry. We don't have to talk about that aspect.
I want it to exist, but I also want black privilege to exist and Mexican privilege to exist. Polish privilege to exist also.
I mean, you can be a rapper easier if you're black. People accept it quicker.
Okay.
True.
What about, there are certain...
That's black privilege.
There...
It's not. It doesn't happen very often though. So yeah.
Well, now are there there's scholarships and things that don't exclude. Well, that specifically exclude white people. You know, things like that. So I don't know if you call that a privilege or not. It doesn't really matter. But what I'm asking, how can you get rid of it? How can you get rid of white privilege if that's a goal? If equality is a goal?
Oh, you just outgrow it. You you let this generation die, and then there's another generation that has less white privilege and more equality in their way, and then that generation dies, and then the next generation has more equality in their way, and then hopefully it's better by then.
Do you think it's
Each
okay
generation just gets a little bit better.
for people to be tired of hearing about? Is that appropriate to say, I'm sick of hearing about white privilege and my privilege?
I don't think that's appropriate to say.
He's not?
Like, I mean, you can say whatever the fuck you want, but
Oh, no, I know.
like, I mean, not you specific, but like anybody. So like, if someone's like, I'm sick of white privilege, it's like, okay, I don't get mad, but it's like, well,
Sorry.
yeah.
I have no control over what
Or, like,
happens to me.
Or it's more, you're asking like coming from white people, saying like, I'm sick of hearing about white privilege. Well then, okay, are you sick of hearing about Marvel movies? If you
What's
are,
the last one?
if you are, then don't pay attention to it.
Did you guys see the last one?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I got it spoiled for me though.
Yeah.
He came home and I was like, tell me all the spoilers because that's
Did he?
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about this. All right.
Wait.
Yeah.
This
we're
is
gonna
on
do
TV.
it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
We're gonna do it.
This is the most
All right,
controversial
all
thing
right,
we're
dude,
doing
this
so
is what,
far.
this is what I came here for. All right.
Awesome.
We're going to
Okay.
spoil.
Taking this
spoil-
over. Zach spoils Endgame.
No. I want to talk about one part of Endgame.
Is it Fat Thor that now I finally have an Avenger that I can relate to?
Huh?
Fat Thor exists.
Fat
and
Thor.
That's an Avenger I can finally relate to.
Well, yeah. I guess that's good.
Yeah.
That's great. We all have
Cheeseburgers, right?
ones that we can
Beers.
connect with.
Nice.
Fat drunk Thor.
But okay, there's a moment where Spider-Man's getting his ass handed to him, right? And he's got the Infinity Gauntlet, and then he's like, "Oh, how am I gonna get it all the way over there?" And then Captain Marvel shows up, and she's like, "Give it to me, I'll take it." And he's like, "How are you gonna get it over there?" And then like 5 Marvel women show up, and they're like, "We'll back you up." And so,
Oh, yeah. I know the part.
did that feel ridiculously like only the women? Right? It's only
yeah,
women
it was,
at
it was
that
like
point. There's a
like
whole battlefield with all men, but there's this one moment where Captain Marvel, the lead woman of the Marvel Universe now, has the gauntlet, and then all the other Marvel women are right behind her, and they're going to back her up. Did that feel inorganic to you?
Not really. And I'm going to say something super controversial right now. And I'm going to look right at the camera when I say it. The Marvel movies and comic book movies in general are children's movies. So if you get upset about something like that, remember you're getting upset about something that a child loves. That's about all it is. That part was for like 6 to 12-year-old girls.
Guardians of the Galaxies?
Yeah, PG-13.
But isn't it for?
They sold a lot of toys.
It's like Power Rangers.
It's for comic. It's not for comic book nerds.
You mean
I think
children?
It's kids first.
Well, that too, I guess.
I know you run a lot of comic book panels, so that was like why I really related into that one.
No, that was a little while ago.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Still,
that's true.
you are a comic book nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it felt, yes, a little inorganic in a movie where they're traveling between galaxies and traveling off planet. People are coming through portals. Nothing in that movie really feels organic because it's all made up.
Superheroes.
Okay.
But yes, there's a lot of things that have been popping into movies in the past 5 years that you just see it and you go like, oh, test audience, or like they needed this in the movie so that like Wonder Woman was a huge success because it hit right at the right time.
Okay. Why? Like, what about it? Okay.
I don't know.
What about it was a success?
Everybody talked about it.
Well, why did they like it?
Because I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I assume it's really boring and stupid.
It was made well.
Okay, cool.
Is why they like it. And why do you think that? I mean, do they like?
Because it's Wonder
Captain
Woman.
Marvel. Do people like Captain Marvel as much?
I've heard people talking about Shazam a lot more.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Have you seen any of the interviews with Brie Larson? Okay.
I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know any of that stuff. I just don't trans your kids. That's all I know.
That's the message for this episode.
Please don't trans your kids.
The more you know. So basically, she's all about like feminism, girl power, and like how she wants less white men on her press tours and more like diverse minorities and all these other things doing the interviews for reviews and things like that for her movies. So it's kind of creates animosity when you have to get specific. Like you can't just let life and things just happen naturally or organically or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's okay because, I mean, you were talking about colleges and stuff like that with scholarships.
Uh-huh.
Because they have such an influx of like rich white people in the college, they'll be like, oh, we need some black people here, and we need to like really even it out, or else we kind of look bad. And that's what I'm assuming is why affirmative
Wasn't there also
action
an issue with
happens.
like Asian kids weren't being able to get into some colleges because there were so many of them testing so high that they had like
too many Asians?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've seen that somewhere for like, it was a Harvard thing.
Yeah, it was just that was another Joe Rogan thing that kept popping back up.
God dang. That's like a Joe Rogan companion show.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll hang out and talk about Joe Rogan all the time with you.
He's
watching Anthony Jeselnik
emotionally
more?
addicted to marijuana.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. All right.
I got fucking lit before I came here.
That's
car.
good. All right, let's go to the next one, please.
But I want to put to you that here in the UK, for example, let's take that as an example, the gender pay gap stands at just over 9%. You've got women at the BBC recently saying that the broadcaster is illegally paying them less than men to do the same job. You've got only 7 women running the top FTSE 100 companies.
Yeah.
So it seems to a lot of women that they're still being dominated and excluded, to quote your words back to you.
It does seem that way, but multivariate analysis of the pay gap indicate that it doesn't exist.
But that's
So
just
you
not
do,
true,
you-
is it?
That's
I mean, that
absolutely
9% pay gap, that's a gap between median hourly earnings
Yeah.
between men and women.
But there's
That
multiple,
exists.
yeah, but there's multiple reasons for that. One of them is gender, but it's not the only reason. Like if you're a social scientist worth your salt, you never do a univariate analysis. Like you say, well, women in aggregate are paid less than men. Okay, well then we break it down by age, we break it down by occupation. We break it down by interest. We break it down by personality.
But you're saying basically it doesn't matter if women aren't getting to the top because that's what's skewing that gender pay gap, isn't it? You're saying, well, that's just a fact of
No,
life.
it's saying
Women
it
aren't
doesn't
necessarily
matter.
going to get to the top.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't matter either.
You're saying
I'm
it's a
saying
fact
there are
of life.
multiple reasons for it.
Yeah, but
and that
those
aren't being
reasons,
taken into
why
account.
should women put up with those reasons? Why should,
Why should
women be
put up with it?
content
I'm not
not
saying
to
that
get
they
to the
should
top?
put up with it. I'm saying that the claim that the wage gap between men and women is only due to sex is wrong. And it is wrong. There's no doubt about that. The multivariate analysis have been done. So
Well,
I can give you an
you
example.
keep on talking
Wait,
about
wait a second.
multivariate analysis.
Let me
No,
give you
no,
an
no, no.
example.
I'm saying that 9% pay gap
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
That's a gap between men and women. I'm not saying why it exists, but it exists. Now,
Yeah, but
if
you
you're
have
a
to say
woman,
why
that
it
seems
exists.
pretty unfair.
You have to say why it exists.
But do you agree that it's unfair? If you're a woman,
Not necessarily.
and on average you're getting paid 9% less than a man, that's not fair, is it?
It depends on why it's happening. I can give you an example. Okay. There's a personality trait known as agreeableness. Agreeable people are compassionate and polite. And agreeable people get paid less than less agreeable people for the same job. Women are more agreeable than men.
Again, a vast generalization. Some
It's not
women
a
are not more
generalization.
agreeable than
Yes,
men.
that's true, but that's right. And some women get paid more than men.
All right, can we pause that?
Real quick, can I just say Jordan Peterson kind of reminds me of a vampire. A very sunken
look like a
features and
vampire,
angular,
doesn't he?
a real angular.
He's got the
That's a costume. He should go for Halloween.
Bob Odenkirk voice. I keep thinking it's Bob Odenkirk.
Oh yeah.
Kinda sounds like Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen what Jordan Peterson looks like.
Really?
Yeah.
He gets accused of kind of sounding like Kermit the Frog too.
Oh, kind of a Ray Romano type vibe.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So
That was really frustrating to watch.
really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because she was generalizing so much, and he's like, well, you're generalizing. Here's how you're generalizing. And she's like, but, and then she just goes back to square one. It's like she has one sentence written on a card, and she's like, it's different from men to women.
And it's not fair.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. It's just, she's immature.
Okay. Well,
I don't think, I think that she got set up with the topic, and then he knows a lot about the topic, and then she was just like, well, I only have this much. This is all I have here.
she invited him on.
I don't know
and
who
has
that
all the
is.
questions.
Who's the lady?
So whose fault is that? I don't know.
Okay.
But she invited him on to interview, had all the questions. So that's not really Peterson's fault, is it? But she probably should have researched that then.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Probably.
saying.
She would have knew what he was gonna
I
say.
feel like I should have researched this, to be honest. But
No.
Yeah, I got here, and I was like, hey, so what goes on here? And he's like, well, just go sit down.
yeah, read these.
Just, yeah, read these things. And
Yeah, we're never gonna touch on these.
Okay.
That's fine.
I read God, because that's like a really short word on here.
Yeah?
And that was a pretty easy one.
When we got here, Chad was like, which one's the elephants and which one's the donkeys?
Yeah, and then it says under it, so I figured it out eventually.
Well, that's good.
Unless it's switched.
reading.
It's not, okay.
All right. So, do you feel there's a gender pay gap?
Not necessarily. Well, I work in the service industry, and women seem to get tipped more. So
Oh, hell yeah, they do.
yeah, I'm not saying it
that's-
doesn't exist. I'm sure.
That's across the
I'm sure,
board.
like it's just very broad. You know, maybe women.
Does that
happen
make you
to-
mad? Because that sounds like sexism.
Nah, I mean, it boils down.
Oh, it does?
It's nice. I don't mind.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all.
They generally work harder for it, and also deal with more shit because of it. So
Yeah. I'm not wearing makeup, and I don't get dudes staring at my titties all day.
yep.
But hey, if you want to pay me to wear, nope, I can't. Nope, can't do that.
All right.
But also, like, if it was okay to pay women less than you could pay a man, when a corporation exists in order to make the corporation money, wouldn't they employ strictly females so that they could pay them less and thereby have more money on the back end?
The answer is yes. Yes. If you could pay women less, then all the corporations would be full of women.
Yeah,
But
I
then
think
they'd
it's
be
just like in
ran
the clip.
like-
There's a lot of other things. There's a lot of other aspects going on.
Just kidding.
Sorry.
It's a joke.
I'll stop interrupting you.
Oh,
Why would you say it's a joke? Should you have to say it's a joke when you do? Let's say.
We have to.
Yeah, sometimes, because like you can say like, oh, if it was ran by all women, it would be ran into the ground.
Emotionally less logical.
Yeah, it would be.
Right? Something like that.
They would have cry breaks or something like that.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, Colin Moriarty he used to work for IGN, and there was the National Women's Day or Without a Woman's Day or something like that, and he tweeted, "National Day Without a Woman sounds like peace and quiet." Just a stupid joke, you know, and he got fired from a 10-year career at a huge company. He got fired, like, boom.
Well, 20 years ago, did comedians have to go, by the way, I just told a joke? Did they have to do that?
No.
Okay, is that a problem?
Was that a problem?
Is that a problem?
Oh, that you have to clarify all the time?
That you have to literally say you just told a joke?
Well, I feel like comedy is a relatively new art form, all things considered, and it's still evolving and growing and changing.
It's a new art form?
Yeah, stand-up comedy really only started in like the 50s,
Shakespeare?
60s. Stand-up comedy being like a person on stage in front of people with a microphone, with like Lenny Bruce type stuff way back. I don't know any of the history. I'm just repeating things I've seen, but
You sounded pretty good for a minute.
yeah, I know how to repeat things pretty well.
All
I
right,
regurgitate information.
I think that it kind of just could be like a knee-jerk reflex to just say, you know, I'm kidding. I want everything to be okay with everybody. You know?
I'll say things, and then people next to me will go, he's just kidding.
That's fun. I like that one. I like it when someone else does it for you, because then then you get to just really sit in it and be like, yeah.
Well, then I like to turn to him and go, isn't that explaining the joke? Like, explaining the joke is supposed to ruin the joke, right?
Yeah.
As a comedic rule.
Usually.
That's kind of like
someone
explaining
does the work
joke
in their head. It's more
almost,
fun.
isn't it? Yeah. Anyway. All right. So, can we start the next clip?
This is what organizing looks like. That's right. This is what building power looks like. This is what changing the country looks like. It's when we choose to show up and occupy the room and talk about the things that matter most, talking about our future. You know, Reverend, you bring up a funny anecdote, and I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy. There is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat. There is nothing wrong with driving the buses that take your family to work.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
All right, can we pause it?
I don't understand any of that shit.
That's okay. What that was that's when Democrat women talk to black people. They have to sound like sassy old black ladies, and they have to do a bad impersonation of it. Did you notice that at all?
I didn't see. Hillary Clinton was Hillary Clinton, right?
Yes.
On the second one.
Yeah.
I couldn't see very well, but I was wondering why she was talking like that.
Well, it's just kind of a proven thing that when you're a Democrat and you're talking to black people, you have to try to sound like what you perceive black people to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to say stuff like the first person is AOC. I don't know if you've ever heard of AOC.
Alice on Chains.
No, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
That's pretty close.
Fuck, dude.
For comedy, that's good.
I've seen it. I read it. I read it once.
Wow.
Yeah, I read her name once somewhere.
Okay. Well, so you recognize her. She talks about the
yeah.
Green New Deal.
Well, I
and
don't
everything.
recognize her. I didn't know who it was until you mentioned it.
Have you heard of
She the first lady on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard of the soft bigotry of low expectations?
No.
Okay. That's where you have AOC turning to black people and being on their team saying, it's all right if you work the food industry. It's all right if you fold clothes. You know, it's like when Kate Brown or something says, we need to let all the illegal immigrants in because who's going to pick all of our berries? That's the soft bigotry of low expectations. It's not, we need to let in the immigrants because we need more doctors. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, I kind of see what you're saying, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We would get a lot more doctors. Aren't a lot of the immigrants doctors?
From India.
Yeah, and
a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, technically.
My last doctor, his name was, I don't know if I should say it on TV.
You should say it with an accent.
Do it.
His name is Dr. Do.
Dr. Do?
Yeah.
Nice.
D-O.
Okay, well, we have a Dr. Do.
Yeah.
All right, well, good. But, I don't know. What did you think of that?
With the accent, you asshole.
Oh, I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Because they can't just be themselves. I mean, in politics in general, you're just so like stripped of all your humanity. You're just like this void, faceless, blankless monster of a person, just a piece of blank paper with nothing on it.
There have been reports that
People
say
write
that
on you what you need to say.
the Democrats will change their vernacular. They'll kind of dumb it down for the black people. And the Republicans don't necessarily take the time to do that. They just
They're already
talk.
there.
Yeah. Well, that's one perception.
That's true, yeah.
Shot it.
Yeah, dude.
Swish. Bam.
But we're gonna, yeah, that's a good high five. I like that. But that's one perception. Maybe it's already there, or maybe they just they're like, was I supposed to? I don't perceive that I need to do that, but I don't know.
Don't you think that the government's there's just too much at stake and going on in the United States for us to be led by one government? I think it needs to be like fragmented up a little bit, and
I don't know.
That's what I think needs to happen.
That sounds
Smaller governments all over the place.
Sounds kind of weird. Maybe that's supposed to be state government, local government, right? State,
I think so.
local.
Does that do anything though?
City.
I mean, I guess there are laws from state to state.
They take your tax money and mismanage it.
Thanks for the
What's
bridge,
already
Salem.
happening, though?
It's a sweet bridge. It goes like this.
Oh, the Taco Bridge.
It's pretty cool.
And a police station. Actually, I voted for the police station because it was going to move the police station farther away from the apartment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they. That's what our city government does. Is
Farther
it
away from
just
the comedy club.
mismanages everything, especially for home.
Is there any
owners.
government that manages everything properly?
No, there probably isn't.
No.
We probably need more reform and everything, but
You need to restructure from the ground up. There's so much, so many faults. So much that has just been like band-aided over since the Constitution was written, the Declaration of Independence was written. Just nothing.
They tried really hard to do it right then, and how can we start out with this new government you're talking about that's going to happen? Not screwing it up. You got to have one of those.
Obviously, you'd like me to lead it. I mean, I feel like that's pretty obvious.
You would lead
we
it?
learned anything tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
My first thing I would work on is fixing all the awnings in downtown Salem because they keep dripping dirty-ass water into my mouth, and
He yawns a lot.
Okay.
I'm not late. Past my bedtime
Do you
often.
close your eyes, pretend it's chocolate milk?
Yeah, he's usually yawning in an awning.
All right. Well.
But no, I don't know.
We got a plan.
What was the question?
What was the question?
It's not even relevant.
I got derailed.
No, I don't know. I just thought it was ridiculous. I just thought it was ridiculous.
Oh, New World Order.
I think it's kind of funny.
Doing the.
Oh yeah.
New Constitution.
Well, Hillary Clinton isn't actually doing a voice. She just changed her voice modulator to give her a slightly sassier.
Beep, boop, boop. Oh shit! I got
Goddamn cyborg woman.
There's the buttons. They're all. I don't know. She reminds me of my mom too much, and that's why I can't look at her face. Because she has a little
something
little
about
smile that she does that my mom fucking did, and it just makes me want to slap her.
Something about the pitch
not
of her
because
voice.
of its women. Yeah, it's not because I hate women. Joking. But it's because she reminds me so much of someone who looks and behaves just like her that I want to.
Man.
That I have so many times in my life I've wanted
Speaking
to just
of the Clintons,
smack around a little bit.
Did
you see a
who'd
picture
you
of Bill
vote for
Clinton lately?
last?
I didn't.
No.
No.
You don't have to disclose
No, I think
it.
I said Hillary, just because I don't want to vote for Donald. You know?
You lost some points here, man.
No, I'm not. Okay. I didn't know we were playing for points.
No, I'm kidding. That's fine.
Wait, is Donald Trump about to come out?
Well, he
funny you
was
said
going
that
to.
because here he is. Zach Chappell, your dad, Donald Trump.
Oh, fuck. Child support, bitch.
Grounded.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
We all know he doesn't have any money.
Can we go to? Let's
Fucking
check out the
dumbass.
next, please.
I think the right to vote
is inherent to our democracy. Yes, even for terrible people.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
While incarcerated?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
All right, can we pause it? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? People who are, like, we'll say the bomber or whatever, the Boston massacre bomber person, think they should get to vote?
Well, I've always wondered how it would be literally the exact opposite way if you had to like pass a test of sort to make sure you were fully aware of all of the different factors involved with voting and you're aware of how the political landscape was. If you had to pass a test in order to vote, I think that might be interesting because you're only getting informed voters who know what they're voting for, and it's not like my side versus your side. They're actually.
I say flip it and have only felons vote.
Ooh, yeah.
See what happens then.
That'd be fun.
Well, you know, part of being a felon and being in prison means that you don't make the brightest decisions, doesn't it?
Not all the time.
Wrong time, wrong place. Wrong pistol in my hand. Whoops. Didn't mean to.
Wrong fingerprints.
Yeah. They're mine instead of Casey's.
Well, in those instances of rape and murder, should they get to vote, hypothetically?
Yeah, I mean, so it's, what is it? You can't, if you're a felon, you can't vote, right?
Yeah.
That's the rule?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think sometimes you just kind of give up your right to do stuff.
Okay.
If you do something that bad.
So somebody you like is murdered by Steve, and Steve's like, I want to vote for our next president or whatever. You think he's got the decision capability to do that?
Decision.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
I don't
should
think
get
it's
to
too.
vote,
Yeah.
even though he murdered your friend.
Yeah.
I think if Zach's friend got murdered, Steve wouldn't be around too much longer.
Yeah, actually.
Zach knows DMX, you know.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Just saw him last Tuesday.
Okay, fair enough.
I really did. Got the ticket. I'll show you.
So, so do you feel that people who are felons should get to vote?
Yeah, given the nature with how we are right now, but also I would like to see what state our country would be in if you had to like pass a test in order to vote. I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
The problem with your test theory, in my perception, like what could go wrong with it, is who administers the test and where their biases lie.
Totally, yeah. It'd have to be like a completely some sort of a an unbiased test. I don't know if they could rig it up like a voting facility type thing, which I know there's also problems with that, where the voting facilities are often only open while people are working in some jurisdictions and miles and miles and miles away in places where people would have to take public transportation and all that. I think it'd be a fun social experiment.
You know, in high school, you got to do a senior project at the end.
Yeah.
What if there's a class like you go math and then you go to like civics class or whatever, and then that's where you take the test you have to pass the class to actually be able to vote. Because that way everybody goes through and it's like, well, cool, now you guys all can, and now you've all passed the test, and it's all legal. Now you guys all know way more. Because I don't know anything about voting. Like I get stuff and I go, okay. I don't have a paper shredder, but I want one, so I can do that. I don't know if that whole pamphlet would go through though.
You can get paper shredders that'll eat it.
Staples will fuck it
Yeah.
up. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They make some gnarly ones. It's cool.
Okay, so next question is 16-year-olds. The Democratic Party wants 16-year-olds to be able to vote, and clearly they want felons to be able to vote, because those are Democrats running for president this next go-around. They're in the race. Those three people that we saw.
Hillary is?
No, that wasn't Hillary. That was
that was
Bernie.
on the last video. That was on the last video. Sorry.
It was Kamala Harris, Bernie, and Buttigieg.
Oof. I don't know if Bernie's going to make it that long.
Who are the second two people?
I would love President
Bernie,
Buttigieg.
Kamala Harris, and I think his name's Pete Buttigieg.
Cool.
All right.
I know who my vote's for.
Stop making me repeat that.
Yeah.
No, I'd never heard of those people.
Wait, what's the last guy's name?
Buttigieg.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Is that his full last name?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. Something like that. Anyway.
It's actually Buttigieg.
Probably. So, but what about 16-year-olds? Should they get to vote? Because you don't.
They shouldn't be able to do anything.
They shouldn't be able to. No.
How old's your kid? 11?
Yeah. How'd you know that? That's weird.
You told me.
All right, sure.
So, I don't know. I just, like, when I was 16, if I was responsible for anything, I don't know. I don't like that idea. I think that you should be. Yeah, there's a lot of it that just boils down to, like, just be an adult. Then you can make decisions that affects adults.
So adults should get to vote. Because they're paying taxes and stuff like that.
Right? Yeah, that seems logical to me.
Voting, 16?
Children.
Yeah, why not?
That's frightening. All right.
Yeah, I know. I think at this point I'm kind of just like, fuck it, dude. Let's write out these last like 20 years America has left in a weird way.
20 years? You think we're all
I'm
gonna
not very,
die in a
I'm
few-
very,
a little
not
while?
very optimistic about the future.
I think we're good. Do you know how much gasoline we've used?
We watch WALL-E every night.
Yeah. Well, see, you're reiterating like this agenda into your mind, Disney's agenda.
Mhm.
You keep getting
Wait,
it
Disney has an
put into
agenda?
your
That's fun.
Yeah, it's all about globalism, the UN. Anyway, aside from all that.
Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah.
Is something you learned in one of your manipulation classes?
Wait, isn't globalism a good thing? Everybody working together?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Wait, really?
That sounds like it's
That
a good
sounds
thing.
like a good thing.
Explain
Yeah,
how everybody
educate
working
me.
together is bad.
Well, let's see.
Are you talking about like
Let me
arms
ask you a
races
question.
and
Are
stuff?
there shitty countries?
No.
Yes.
They're all God's countries.
Poland.
Okay. What's wrong with Poland?
Our Saudi Arabia is pretty bad to us.
No,
we
but
also
are
keep
there
selling them shit.
countries
No, to
that you're
themselves.
like, I don't
Oh,
want to
them too.
visit that country because it sounds dangerous and it looks sketchy?
Possum country?
So, the United States, do you think that's potentially, out of all the countries in the world, a good country? Like a safe country overall?
Safe compared to, I mean, if you were to put all of them there?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. We have a lot of bad things
If we
that
talk
happen
about globalism, we're talking about sharing our resources, right? Like money, natural resources, things like that, with other countries and getting their what?
Money and natural resources.
Money and natural resources? What if they don't have any money?
They got natural resources.
We're probably all supposed to split up and share everything, right?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah, it sounds good, but it sounds like we're losing our ass in this deal.
Oh yeah, we'd have to go down a little bit.
But
And
in order to
so
bring
that
everyone
sounds like
else
a
up.
good plan?
Yeah, it's like give everybody a sandwich.
Yeah, but why are we doing good? Is it because the United States has struggled to do well, and part of learning and succeeding is the struggle process?
Well, we had an incredible workforce when we started out.
That's true. Or so I've been told. Allegedly.
I wasn't there, but I heard about it. I heard it was pretty heavy.
Okay. Well, yeah, and we've struggled and learned through all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think all countries are equal. I don't think all countries. It goes down to like, what do you mean good? Because it's like there are certain people in different countries that aren't in a temperate zone as nice as we are. So like everything for them sucks, and they've had no technology, and they just haven't built to what we have just because we were lucky to be here.
As far as temperate, there are countries like the Scandinavian countries, right, who are doing pretty amazing in freezing countries. You know what I mean? Like very icy.
Oh, I don't think
places.
he meant temperate. You don't even mean like temperate, like weather-wise, right?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, that's. They also have a lot less people.
That's true. They do. Yeah. So what works in other countries probably doesn't work in the United States as well because we have a lot more people, and it's like 20 countries equals like the size of the United States.
Yeah, and everybody, when they talk in Scandinavian, in any of those languages, it's hilarious. So they're all in a really good mood all the time.
Yeah. Swedish.
Like, your mom just died. Like, whoa. But you said it's so funny.
Yeah, that's how they sound. Just fuck. Hilarious.
That's true.
Yeah.
Told you I'd do the
point.
voice.
Everybody's smiling there.
It's a good point. So I don't know. It's something to think about, right?
Yeah, I mean,
for globalism to be awesome, are you willing to sacrifice what you said that it would take to bring the United States down for all the other countries to go up? And for them to go up, will they have gone through the level of learning the way that other countries have actually had to struggle through. Like gaining that knowledge the hard way kind of solidifies it versus just receiving stuff.
Yeah,
See what I'm saying?
It's like just giving someone a bunch of money when they're homeless.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't give a homeless person 10 grand.
Yeah,
they'd
and
be
then
like,
go, now,
"Ugh."
you know, manage this well.
Yeah.
This is a new start for you, and I expect you to succeed.
But I mean, yeah, I'm equating homeless people to third world countries in that one.
Good.
Okay, I didn't know if that was clear. But
I
yeah.
appreciate that. So anyway, that's something to think about, right? Well, I don't know. Have you guys learned anything?
Honestly, no.
Perfect.
Don't trans your kids.
Don't trans your kids.
Last thing, just one more time. Please don't trans your kids. Let your kids trans themselves once they're not kids anymore.
Well, hey, I think that's fair enough.
That's pretty fair.
And I just want to thank everybody for joining us here on Free Speech Northwest. And I think we had a great time. Thanks, Chad, and thanks, Zach.
Thank you,
appreciate
Casey.
it.
Thank you very much, Casey. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. That's it.